Hello and welcome to another video. This time I will be servicing an old Omega pocket watch from around 1915. The watch belongs to my friend Arvid, who will turn 40 any day now. So congratulations to you, Arvid, and also for having such a beautiful watch. And the watch has been inherited to him by his great grandfather. So it has been in the family for a long time, and much emotional value is stored in this timepiece. And as you could see, the watch is not running very well. It's about time it gets a proper service. I can also see that the watch is performing especially bad in the vertical positions, so I expect something to be damaged or broken as well. But we will see about that later on. But let's start taking off the hands and the dial and get the movement out of the case. So here I'm using a special box for storing the watch hands in a safe place. So first we did take off the minute hand and also the hour hand, and now we're trying to, as gently as we can, remove the seconds hand as well. Now we can turn the watch around, and first we need to remove the two case screws, but also the crown and stem in order to get the movement out of the case. So there we go, we got the movement out of the case. We have a ring around the movement here, protecting it and also keeping it tight into the case, so we remove that. And then we have 3 different dial screws keeping tension to the dial feeds of the dial. So we unscrew 3 different screws, and then we can gently remove the dial. And then we can put the dial away into a safe place. And then we can start taking the movement apart. So first off, we remove the hour wheel and the cannon pinion. Because the cannon pinion is also pressed with tension onto one of the wheels in the train wheels, and if we leave the cannon pinion in place, we will not be able to take apart the train wheels without turning the watch over again later on. So I usually do that before I turn the watch over. So first off, we need to insert the stem and crown again in order to release the tension of the mainspring. We don't want any power in the watch when we remove the balance and the pallet fork and the train wheels. Then we can have flying parts around. So we start off with that. After that, I usually remove the balance, because the balance is one of the most delicate parts in the watch. So we want to get that out of the way and stored safely in order to not damage it when removing other parts. So that's basically the whole point. When the balance has been removed, we can then move on to remove the crown wheel and the ratchet wheel and the click. So here's the ratchet wheel, which is installed on top of the barrel. Now we can remove the click and the click spring. And also the crown wheel here, which is actually made by 3 different parts. Then we can unscrew the barrel bridge and remove that as well. Underneath the barrel bridge there is also the setting lever screw, which holds on to that setting lever that I picked up underneath the watch, so it drops down when I unscrew the setting lever. And then we can remove the barrel, and inside that barrel there is the mainspring, which is powering the whole watch. We can also remove the clutch wheel and the winding pinion from this side, so I do that. And then we can move on to disassemble the train wheels. So we start off by removing the train wheel bridge, which is held by 2 screws. And then we get access to all the train wheels. So we lift those out gently. And this actually leaves us only the pallet fork and the pallet fork bridge on this side of the watch. And the bridge I'm removing here is the pallet fork bridge, and when inspecting that underneath the microscope later on, I found out that the jewel was broken. So this was most likely the cause of the bad rate and amplitude in the vertical positions. And what I had to do, and I didn't manage to film that, I don't have a camera on my microscope yet, but what I had to do was actually to replace the jewel. And the jewel, it's very, very small. It was 1.2 millimeter in diameter, and the hole within the jewel that the pallet fork pinion is going into was 0.16 millimeters big. So I actually managed to find a replacement jewel for this, and I had to open up the bridge fitting for the jewel and install a new jewel. And this I actually managed to do that, and then everything worked good again. And while talking about that, I have been disassembling the motion works and the keyless works on the watch, and that leaves us only the barrel to disassemble. So I'm opening it up by pressing it down on the flat surface, so the lid pushes up and clicks out of place, and then I get access to the barrel arbor and the mainspring. The mainspring we need to get out of the barrel and to get properly cleaned and re-lubricated and installed back into the barrel. And this mainspring, I think it looked okay, and I want to keep as many parts as I could, because as I said, it has been inherited from his great-grandfather, and you want to use as many pieces of the watch as possible that has been used in the past by his ancestors. So here you can see me getting the mainspring out of the barrel. And then I moved on to cleaning the dial. So a very, very light cleaning. I'm just using a little bit of water and a microfiber swab. And then I'm just polishing it remove any remaining residues with a microfiber cloth. But I think I actually managed to get some dirt off, some dusts off, but also some yellow color in the dial. I don't know if you noticed in the beginning of the video, the casing has also a very old plastic crystal, which I have been replacing. I didn't record that, but the watch will get a new crystal. The old one had turned to a green color, and I actually tried polishing it, but it didn't work out. So it was time for a new crystal on this watch. And then I moved on to cleaning all the watch parts. I put them in glass jars, which has Elma Red into it. And then I put this into my ultrasonic cleaning machine. Basically all parts except the balance and the pallet fork goes into this. And once they have gone for 5 to 10 minutes, I put them into another glass jar which has isopropanol alcohol in it. And the balance and the pallet fork, as you can see here, is put into a benzine jar. And I'm also brushing and cleaning the parts when needed, and going through another watch cleaning cycle. And here you can see all the watch parts are properly clean and ready for assembly again. So first off, we need to wind the mainspring in and put it back into the barrel. So here I'm using a mainspring winder to wind it back into, and then I'm putting it back into the barrel. And once I've put it back into the barrel, I also need to install the barrel arbor again, and then I use HP 1300 medium thick oil to lubricate the mainspring. And then we can put the lid on again, and using this barrel closing tool to do that properly. It actually pushes on the barrel lid evenly from all sides, so, and then it's secured. And then it's ready to put back into the movement. So we start off by installing the barrel, and then the remaining train of wheels. You need to get all the pivots into the correct jewel holes, and then gently put the train wheel bridge in place. And I think I needed to do a few attempts before I got this properly aligned. And then we screw the 2 train wheel bridge screws back. I'm adding some grease to the setting lever screw, which need to be installed before the barrel bridge, because the barrel bridge will hold the setting lever screw in place. And after that we can install the barrel bridge and the barrel bridge screws. And I regularly check that the train of wheels are spinning freely, both when installing the train wheel bridge but also the barrel bridge here. And I'm also lubricating the barrel bridge between the arbor and the barrel bridge. And then we can put back the setting lever spring, the click spring, and also the click. And then we can install the ratchet wheel, and after that the crown wheel. We can then move on to the dial side of the watch, installing the Cannon pinion once again. And then the spring for the setting lever. And I guess this spring would be called the joke spring. Not sure if that is correct for this movement. But and then we can install the clutch wheel and the winding pinion. And I actually had to put in the winding pinion from the other side of the movement. So what I actually had to do was go back, remove the barrel bridge once again, and install the winding pinion from the other side. But I have not included that part in this video, but lessons learned. So here I could not install the winding pinion from this side. I had to go back. Yeah, I'm reassembling this wheel on top of this. I guess this is a combined joke and intermediate wheel. So here you can see it sliding, and once it slides inwards the watch, it will be able to set the time of the watch. It can interact with the minute wheel and the hour wheel. And after the minute wheel has been put on, we also have a cover plate here to secure the minute wheel and the joke / intermediate wheel. And then we can put back the setting lever here, which will interact with the winding stem and the crown. And as you know, it's screwed from the other side, so I need to put a finger on top of that and then use the setting lever screw to secure it. And then we can try it out to see that it works. And also adding a little bit of grease where the sliding or where the different parts meets in order to reduce the friction and the wear over time. And then we can oil all the train of wheels. Or actually I only oiled the barrel there, where the arbor meets the barrel bridge, the main plate. And once again, this is a new jewel in the pallet fork bridge here. So now it works as it should again. and then installing both screws to the pallet fork bridge. And once I've done that, I need to lubricate the escape wheel teeths. So what I'm doing is I'm adding a little bit of 9415 grease to the pallet fork jewel, and then moving forward like 5 times on the pallet fork, and then re-lubricating the jewel and repeating that 2 to 3 times, 3 times I think. So you can see me moving forward the pallet fork. And for each step, the escape wheel will be moving. So we will lubricate all the teeth of the escape wheel until it looks correct, with the correct amount of grease. And this actually makes a huge impact on the amplitude of the watch, how much power can be transferred to the balance. And then we can install the balance again, and as you can see, the watch is running again, and this time in a much better way. We then move on to lubricating all the jewels. First off the center wheel, and then the other wheels in the train wheel. So third wheel, fourth wheel, and the escapement wheel. And we then also need to do that on the other side of the watch, of course, but also we need to remove the cap jewels on the balance. So those jewels can be removed, and why that is done in a special way for just the balance is to make sure that the balance staff is not broken if the watch has been dropped into the floor or so. So here we remove the cap jewels on the balance, on the dial side. And I have only recorded this one. I actually removed the same cap jewel on the other side of the balance as well, on top of the balance bridge. So I use a little piece of Rodico here to grab it, and then I put this into a jar of benzine, and then when it's been properly clean, I can put a little drop of 9010, Mobius 9010, and then gently put it back without interfering with the oil drop, and then put the screw back on. And after that we can see how the watch is running again. So when we put it in the time graph now, as you can see, the amplitude has been increased a lot, and we have a good rate of the watch now, -7 seconds a day, and the beat error is fine. We can gently regulate the watch by moving this pinion a little bit. Now I think I'm down to -4 to -3 seconds a day in this particular position, and it actually has a very good rate on all different positions, so I'm very happy with the results. And then we can put the dial back, and also screw back all the dial screws, the 3 different ones that we saw earlier when we removed the dial. And then we can put back this tension ring as well around the movement, which will secure it in place when we put it back into the casing. But before we do that, we need to remove the crown and stem once again in order to get it into the case. There we go. And here you can see the new crystal as well. Makes a huge difference. And then we install the stem and crown again, and we screw in the setting lever screw. And we also need to refit the case screws in order to secure it into the case. So the 2 case screws goes next. And once that is done, we can then close it from this side, and then it's only the hands left to install. We start off by the hour hand. So we put it in place, and then we press it down with this tool. This tool has a hole in the end, which will, so it doesn't interfere with the pinion of the wheels, so it goes around and presses on the hand only. And then we can set the time to midnight in order to also put the minute hand in the correct position. So here we have the minute hand, and I gently put it directly on top of the hour hand, and then press it into place. And that leaves us with only the seconds hand left. I also check that when setting the time that the hour hand and minute hand are not colliding with each other, interfering with each other, and also that when the minute hand is directly on 12, that the hour hand is pointing correctly. So then we take the last seconds hand, and we press that into place using a flat tool in order to not damage the seconds hand. And that's basically it for this watch. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I will be able to get a camera for my microscope soon, so the upcoming videos will be even better. Thank you.